This is a special clients in bulk bonus for how to sign massive amounts of clients at BNI, Business Network International. Why do I love BNI? Well, guys, I absolutely love BNI. I was a member of BNI for 13 years. I actually helped start the chapter of BNI that I was involved with. And over the years of my involvement, I was asked to be a chapter director consultant, which is a big honor. I turned it down, but I was very honored to be asked to be a chapter director consultant. What that does is it's a consultant that works with BNI very, very closely to oversee chapters, to make sure that they're operating correctly, following the rules, and really getting the most out of being a part of BNI. I love BNI because it absolutely works. And I'll tell you, in the 13 years I was involved, if I were to add up the amount of business that came into my business from BNI, it absolutely would be over $1 million. Now, that wasn't in a year, that was in the 13 years that I was involved, but I'll tell you, being involved, it was huge. It has absolutely generated over $1 million for my business. And I'll tell you, to this very day, I still have active clients that I got from BNI. Some of them I got my very first year in BNI. So I have had clients that have been with me for 13 plus years. That's how powerful it is. BNI truly is a proven system. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of other groups out there that try to mimic what BNI does. And quite frankly, they don't do a very good job. I mean, some do, let's be fair, but there's a lot of other networking organizations out there that try to mimic the BNI system. And, you know, BNI has a proven system. They're probably the largest and most successful referral organization in the world, and it's truly proven and it truly works. And the real bottom line reason why I love BNI is that it absolutely works, but you have to do it the right way. There are many people that get involved in BNI and they crash and burn. They don't do well. Usually when that happens, it's because they're not doing BNI the right way. They're going about it very, very wrong. They have the wrong mindset. They have the wrong expectations. What I'm going to teach you in this bonus will set you up for success, because I can tell you BNI absolutely works. But you have to approach it the right way. Let's talk about steps involved to join BNI. First of all, you're going to look for chapters to visit. Now, you learned how to do this in module number 1 of the Clients in Bulk course on finding and booking events. But basically, what you want to do is you want to find chapters that have an opening in your category, meaning there's an opening for somebody that does what you do. When you find that, you will call the vice president of the chapter and ask if you can visit that chapter. And again, in module number 1, I showed you visually how to do this. So go back and watch that module if you missed it. Remember, there's no competition in BNI. So there's only one person per category or industry. So if you are a marketing person and there's already a marketing person in the chapter you want to visit, that may not be a good fit. You may not be able to visit. The vice president may say, yeah, it's not a good fit because we already have a marketing person, etc. Now, you can call the vice president and you can be very specific about what you do. So let's pretend that you find a chapter and you really want to visit, but there's already a marketing person in there. You can go ahead and call the vice president and say, you know, hey, I see that there's Sally. She's a marketing person. She's in your BNI group. I do Google advertising. So that's all I do. I do Google pay-per-click advertising. Would that be a fit? Does Sally do Google advertising? And if Sally does, then no, it's not a fit because there's no competition. But if she doesn't, it may be a fit. Just call the vice president and ask. Also understand that you're going to want to visit several chapters, not just one or two, because each chapter of BNI has its own vibe, it has its own personality, it has its own uniqueness about it. And you may think, okay, hey, I just want to visit bigger chapters instead of smaller chapters. That's not necessarily a good or bad thing. There are some really phenomenal chapters who have smaller numbers. And, there's bigger chapters that actually don't do as much business as the smaller ones. So you want to visit several because they do have their unique personality to them. You can visit a chapter 2 times before you have to make a decision to join. So if you have a list, remember, you can visit one chapter up to 2 times before they're going to ask you to make a decision about joining. Or if you don't join, you really can't come back and visit. You can't just visit and visit and visit and visit. That's not how BNI works. As a visitor, write this down, everyone. This is so, so, so important, and why so many people do not do well visiting BNI chapters. You are not pitching. You are not hard selling as a visitor. As a visitor, you are only checking out the group, and you're going to pique their interest in your services because you are going to give a commercial about your services. But that's it. You're not going to hard pitch. You're not going to hard sell. You will have 30 seconds to a minute to give a commercial about your services. And again, you're just wanting to check out the group and pique their interest. Follow the script and adapt it for your own. And I'm going to show you the script here in just a second. But you're going to follow this and adapt it for your services and what you do. Here's the script. This is a 30-second commercial. Some chapters have 30-second commercials, some have 45 seconds, some have a minute. Instead of talking about your niche, you're going to say small business owners because, as you have to remember, BNI has a lot of different industries in a chapter. I'll talk more about this in just a second. And for your commercial, you're going to want to focus on their biggest want. So here's the script. Hi everyone, my name is Gina Poole, and I help small business owners quadruple the amount of leads they get to their small business in just 30 days or less. I do this via paid Facebook advertising with strategic targeting and retargeting. But here's the deal. What I do is very unique and different from others, and it actually works. So if you've tried advertising on Facebook before and maybe it crashed and burned or it failed, or you know what, if you've never tapped into the power of advertising on Facebook, we can change that for you just like we've changed it for other clients. So let's quadruple the amount of high quality leads that come to your door. Again, my name is Gina Poole and I'm really excited to visit. It's nice to meet everybody. There you go. That's the script. So adapt that to your own services and your own personality. As you can see, that wasn't a pitch. That was a commercial about my services. That wasn't a hard sell. It was meant to pique their interest. So important. No pitching, no hard selling. If you do pitch and hard sell, so if that commercial was like, hey, I have a special price available today only. If you sign up for my Facebook ad service, I'll take $500 off and I only have 5 spots and you have to sign up right now. Oh boy, no. You are a visitor. That will not work and that will turn people off. Because here's something that a lot of people don't know about BNI. And every chapter is unique and every chapter will emphasize this policy more than others. BNI actually encourages members not to give business to visitors. The reason why is if BNI members give business to all the visitors that come. Why in the world should visitors join a chapter, right? There's no incentive for a visitor to join a chapter if they get business just by visiting. Another thing is visitors are not vetted. In BNI, there is a whole application process and checking references. So BNI says, guys, be very, very careful giving business to visitors because they're not vetted. And also in BNI, there is a process of how to handle complaints. So as a member, if you give business to another member, and let's say they mess up, they rip you off, it's horrible, whatever happens, it's not good, there's an entire process for fixing that situation. That doesn't exist for visitors. So you have to understand, as a visitor, you are only there to check out the group, pique the interest in what you do, and people are kind of checking you out and see if you may be a good fit or not. So don't tick them off. Don't turn them off. Don't pitch them. Once you find a chapter that you like, you will go through the whole process of application and hopefully becoming a member. So the first step is you fill out an application for membership. They are going to go through a process. They are going to call references. So you've got to list references. Clients of yours, they're really the best references because they can showcase the results that you've gotten. If you don't have clients, if you're brand new, that's okay. It can be a friend or a family member, not a big deal. But if you have clients that can really showcase your results, list those. They're going to vet those references. They're going to call those references. There's a whole process. They're going to go through this process and they will notify you if you are accepted for membership. The entire process takes about 2 weeks or so. So again, they're going to call references. They're going to talk to your references. They may check you out online. If you have some special credentials or licensing or whatever, they will probably check that out, make sure that that is intact. There's a whole process. It can take about 2 weeks, sometimes a little longer if your references don't call them back. And here's the thing, everyone. Don't worry if you're not accepted to a chapter the first time. The thing that's great about BNI is they really make sure you're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for you. So if you happen to not be accepted into the chapter that you've applied for, don't freak out. It's really, really okay. And there may be another chapter that it's a better fit for. And you can always apply to that same chapter a bit later. I'll tell you a story. Again, I was in BNI for 13 years and I helped start the chapter that I was involved with. And as my business grew, I wanted to put my assistant in an additional BNI chapter. And during this time, we were doing a lot of search engine optimization. That's what we were really focusing on in our business. And so we went to visit additional chapters to place her as a member in a chapter. And we actually applied to a chapter as search engine optimization, in a firm that does that. And guess what? We got declined. She didn't get accepted into that chapter. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Frankly, I was a little butthurt. I'm like, wait a minute. I've been in BNI for years, come on. I helped start the chapter I'm involved with and all this kind of stuff. Well, guys, come to find out, there was another search engine optimization person that had come earlier. They had visited a few weeks prior. They had really bonded with the members, and the members loved him. And he actually filled out an application, and they were processing that before we even got there. So it was a fit for that person to be accepted. And, it's okay. We found another chapter and it worked out fine. But I'm sharing that story with you. Don't freak out. Don't get butthurt like I did if you aren't accepted the first time. There's lots of chapters of BNI. And, I believe that things happen for a reason. So, hey, there's probably a different chapter for you. Now, if you are accepted as a member, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Once you're officially accepted, you're going to have to go to a program called Member Success. All new members have to attend this. It's basically training on how to get the most out of your membership. Now, you are going to want to do this as soon as possible because you cannot give your 10-minute presentation in BNI until you go through this training. You can't. So if you put it off, it's going to be a while before you can give your 10-minute presentation. And as you're going to learn, that's where the magic happens. That's where you sign clients in bulk at BNI. Once you do go through MSP, go back to the chapter and ask the leadership to put you on the speaker list. Every single chapter has a list and a rotation of speakers. Now, depending upon the size of the group, it may be several weeks before you can speak. It may even be several months before you can give your 10-minute talk. That is completely okay because there's work to be done to prepare for this. And there's work to be done to essentially warm up the audience to what you do and what you're going to be offering. So it's okay. If it's going to be weeks or months before you can speak, don't freak out. There's some homework to prepare for this. In creating your 10-minute presentation, what you're going to want to do is follow everything that you've learned in the Clients in Bulk course, because you're going to want to create an irresistible offer for your services. Now, you're not going to focus on a specific niche because, again, in BNI, there are all kinds of different businesses, all kinds, and I'll talk about that more in just a moment. But you do have to create an irresistible offer. And if you remember in this course, I gave you several examples, and I'll give you several more examples in this training. You're also going to need to create a bonus or bonuses for people that sign up on the spot. You're going to need to price your services correctly. Write this down, guys. This is huge. You've got to price your services correctly. This is one of the number one reasons why people do not get success in BNI. For BNI, your first initial offer needs to be somewhere around $100 to $500. No more. That's it. That is truly, truly the sweet spot. And this is where people mess up. I will tell you, I messed this up at the very, very beginning. I tried to sign people to a huge package. I tried to talk about a huge package. It was way too much for people to bite off. Here's what you have to remember. In BNI, there are lots of different business owners with lots of different budget sizes. You may have a carpet cleaner, a massage therapist, a chiropractor, a dentist, a photographer, a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, different businesses with different size budgets. So a colossal mistake that people make with BNI is they try to sell everyone a huge package to start with. Do not do this. Do not do this. If you review the BNI success stories that you have as part of this program, as part of a bonus, look at what they're doing. They're not selling their big packages. They are selling a small package. So that's what you want to do. You're going to want to sell a small package first and then upsell them to a bigger program. Doing it this way gives people a taste of what you do. It makes them fall in love with what you do. It makes them a lot easier to say yes because it's a smaller package. And then, of course, as they're getting results, as they're loving what you're doing, yes, 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 you can upsell them. Remember earlier when I said that if I added up all of the income in the business generated from BNI over the past 13 years that I was involved, it'd be over $1 million? Yep. Of course, I sold some low-cost things. And then, of course, I upsold higher-priced packages and programs. That works, and that's what you want to do. Also, in creating your 10-minute presentation, you're going to use the paid pitch from stage script that you have as part of this program. If you remember, it is absolutely the perfect length and the perfect structure for your 10-minute presentation. It's phenomenal. You don't have to tweak it or change it. You just have to make it your own, and it's the perfect script and structure for the 10-minute presentation. Of course, you're going to need to practice. Practice as if you were standing up on a huge stage in front of, 300, 500, 1,000 people at a large event. But once you have this done, you are ready for your 10-minute presentation at BNI. Now again, it could be several weeks or several months before you're able to give your 10-minute presentation. While you're waiting, there are things to warm up the audience, if you will. You have to remember, once you're a member of BNI, you have weekly meetings. Weekly meetings. Now, in every one of those weekly meetings, you are going to do a 30-second to 1-minute commercial each and every week. Again, some chapters it's a 30-second commercial. Some chapters it's a 45-second commercial. Some chapters it's a minute. But every single week, you will do a commercial. During this time, you're going to touch on your irresistible offer. Use the script that I gave you as a visitor as your starting point. So that script I gave you earlier, go back and use that and use it as a starting point for your 30-second commercial that you'll do each and every week as a member. Now remember, don't try to hard sell this. It's very, very hard to sign up clients in bulk when you're giving a short commercial. Even now that you're a member, you're not a visitor anymore and people know, like, and trust you, but it's still very, very hard to sign up massive amounts of clients from a 30-second to a 1-minute commercial. The magic happens at the 10-minute presentation. But yeah, of course, as you're doing your commercial each and every week leading up to the presentation, there may be a few people trickle in. There may be a few people say, you know what, Gina? Yeah, I need Facebook ads. Tell me more about that. Let's sit down. Let's have a one-to-one meeting, and I'll talk about what those are. And let's talk about this. You may very well have some people trickle in, but the thing is, don't try to cram in your paid pitch from stage script into a 30-second commercial. It's just not going to work. It's much better if you don't try to hard sell them. You just touch on things and you pique their interest. Again, the full-blown pitch, the magic of signing clients in bulk at BNI, that happens during your 10-minute presentation. This is exactly like paying to speak and pitch on stage at a niche-specific conference, a niche-specific coaching program, a niche-specific association. Everything that you've learned in this program, that 10-minute presentation in BNI, it's exactly the same. The only difference is, instead of a whole room of chiropractors, for example, there's a room of business owners in many different niches. And instead of, say, 200 or 500 or 1,500 people in the audience, there's maybe 30, 40, 50. That's the only difference. But that's where the magic happens. That's when you're going to pitch that 10-minute presentation. That is when you're going to sign clients in bulk at BNI. Again, as you're waiting to give the 10-minute presentation, what you're going to want to do is do as many one-to-one meetings as you can. Now, one-to-one meetings, this is where you meet with members one-on-one outside of BNI. Usually it's for an hour, and you may go get coffee or lunch or whatever, maybe a drink, and you learn about them and they learn about you. It's a way to get to know people outside the structured meeting of BNI. Do as many of those as you can leading up to your 10-minute presentation. When you do, touch on your irresistible offer. Touch on, what you do and the irresistible offer that you have for BNI. But again, don't try to hard sell them. That will turn people off. One-to-one meetings, it's laid back. It's relaxed. It's not a hard pitch and a hard sell. It's a way to get to know members and what they do, and a way for them to get to know you. But again, you will have a few more people that may trickle in and become clients before your presentation. That's great. That's great. That's all what it's about. Excuse me. Here are offers that work for BNI. The $100 to $500 mark, that's the sweet spot. Now, like a true marketer, I don't say $100 or $500. I say $97 or $497, and everything in between. So $197, $297, $397. I have found in the 13 years I was in BNI, that's the sweet spot. I've also, in talking to a lot of other members of BNI, talking to the leadership of BNI, that's really the sweet spot for BNI. Now, if you charge, $5,000 for your package, if you charge $20,000 for your package, that's okay. Don't let this number freak you out. Don't think, holy cow, Gina, you're insane. I'm not going to join BNI because I charge $20,000. Why the hairball would I ever get involved in a group where I can only charge $497? If that's what you're thinking, you're missing the point. The point is small to start, then you upsell them. This is exactly what I did, and my services aren't cheap. But this is the best way to do BNI, and it's what really makes BNI successful. So again, the offer's $100 to $500, that's truly the sweet spot. Remember what you've learned in the course. Any kind of offer that you're making for BNI, make it irresistible. Make them salivate over it. Make it such a no-brainer that it's so hard to say no to. Yeah, I want that. Make it irresistible. Don't forget, include a bonus or bonuses. That's part of that irresistible offer. And again, it makes people say yes right then and there. Of course, you can absolutely limit the spots that you have. If you want to create a special offer and you only have 5 spots, okay, great. If you want to limit it to 10, great. You can absolutely use everything that you've learned in this course to apply for BNI, and it absolutely will work. But again, I can't say it enough. When I see people getting frustrated with BNI, dropping out with BNI, saying BNI stinks and it doesn't work, the reason is they're trying to sell way too much in the beginning. It works best if you start small and then you upsell them more services. Let me talk about some more things that work really, really great for BNI and things that I have done and tested and that you want to do and test as well. Here are some ideas. Small seminars work great. So you can do a small seminar about your area of expertise and sell these for $297 to $497. Now, I have done this before, and I sold one for $697. That did work, but it didn't work as well as the price point of $297. I charged a little more because it was a little more comprehensive, but the $297 to $497 works much better. This is essentially a 1-day or a half-day seminar that you do on your own. So in the actual course, I gave you some examples. I did a 1-day SEO seminar. That's the one I charged $697 for. And yeah, it worked, but it wasn't as good of a result as the lower cost option, which was my 1-day Facebook ads seminar. And yes, when I did those, I absolutely upsold them into my done for you services. So they had a great experience at the seminar. They learned a ton. And of course, like anything else, when you're teaching people how to do it themselves, a lot of times they just want you to do it for them. So yeah, I got clients at my higher price program. I upsold them in the done for you. So small seminars can work great for BNI. Here's another one that I recommend everybody try. Report cards. report cards work great for BNI. And I don't care what industry you are in, you can do a report card. So what you're going to do is sell these for $97 to $297. Here's how this works. Basically, you're going to create a report card and you're going to evaluate what the member is doing. Evaluate what they're doing. Then what you're going to want to do is, after you've evaluated everything, you're going to schedule a 1-hour call with them to go over the findings. Now, if 1 hour is too long, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 45 minutes, but I found, an hour is a good amount of time because you're going to go over the findings of what they're doing. On that call, you share your unbiased expertise and feedback about what they're doing, and share with them an action plan that they can implement. At the end of the call, that's when you can upsell them. Now, I usually try to upsell a package that's around $500 to $1,500. The reason I do that instead of like a $20,000 program is because, remember, these report cards, they've started small. They've maybe spent, $97. So a medium jump of like a $500 to a $1,500 package, that's really great. And then you can always upsell them again. So let me give you some examples of the report cards that I've done. And this should get your creative juices flowing and really see how cool this is, because these can really, really help. They're very easy for people to say yes to. And I don't care what industry you are in, you can absolutely do a report card. So I did an online marketing report card. I evaluated their online marketing in general. So I looked at their website, looked at their landing pages. I looked to see if they have any lead magnets whatsoever. And I looked at like their follow-up system. Do they even have a follow-up system? And I created a report card. So basically, I evaluated what they were doing. I scheduled a call with them to share feedback and my findings. And I said, hey, here's what's going on. Do you want some help with this? So what I would do is I would take 1 or 2 services that I could offer, and I would say, hey, you know what? Here's what I'm seeing with your online marketing. Here's what I'm seeing with your website. You don't really have landing pages. You don't have a lead magnet whatsoever. And it really doesn't look like you have any kind of a follow-up system. Here's the thing. I've got a package for $1,500 to where I'll actually create a lead magnet for you. I'll put it on a marketing-driven landing page, and I'll wire up a very simple email follow-up. It's $1,500, and that will drastically improve your online marketing. Boom. There you go. Online marketing report card. Another one that I did, and this worked really, really well. I sold a ton of logo and stationery design with this one. I did a branding report card where I would evaluate their logo. Did they do it themselves? Is it just clip art? Is it custom? Where did they get it? How much did they spend? Is it modern? Is it dated? I would also look at their stationery design. Does it look like that they just kind of printed it out at, Office Depot? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it can be more professional. I would also look at their marketing materials. So did the logo match the brochure? Did the brochure match the postcards? Did their stationery look the same colors, that kind of thing? And then again, I would evaluate everything. I would schedule a call and say, okay, here's what I'm finding. Here's what you really need to change. Your logo's dated. It's not unique. It just looks like a little piece of clip art. And I know you did it when you first started your business, but hey, you've got, years under your belt, and we need to be more professional. I really suggest you redo the logo, and I suggest that your marketing materials are more consistent. And I'd simply say to them on that call, hey, you want some help with this? And 9 times out of 10, they'd be like, yep. Okay, well, for $1,500, I can redo your logo, custom logo. It can be beautiful, really, really professional. And we'll also redo your stationery package. That was the branding report card. How about an SEO report card? This is great. You can evaluate their Google rankings. Where are they? Do they show up on page 1 or are they on page 25? Do they have any online reviews? Are they good? Do they have any? Where are they? What about their website and their keywords? Hey, do they do any Google PPC? Do they do any ongoing search engine optimization? Take a look at what they're doing. Schedule a call with them. Hey, here's exactly what I'm seeing. Here's what needs to happen to do better. And you could offer them a monthly service package. If you do SEO, chances are you could do something for $500 to $1,500, give or take, in a range in there. That's the SEO report card. What about social media? I wouldn't call it a Facebook report card. I would call it a social media report card. So what you could do is evaluate their Facebook business page. Let's get honest. Some of the businesses don't have a Facebook business page, or not so good, right? So, all right, evaluate that. Look at their social media in general. Are they on Pinterest? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? Take a look. Where are they? Do they do any kind of Facebook ads? And if they do, what do those look like? Do they pixel things? Do they retarget things? Then again, evaluate what's going on, schedule a call with them, give them feedback and suggestions, give them an action plan, and then of course you can upsell them. Those are report cards, and those absolutely work. I don't care what industry you're in. You can absolutely come up with a report card about what you do in your area of expertise, and that's how simple it is. You can absolutely sell these like crazy, and then of course upsell them into higher priced programs. Here's another thing that works great. Splinter offers. Splinter offers work phenomenal for BNI. Sell these for $297 to $497, so $300 to $500, give or take. You could do just a little more, but again, that sweet spot is about $500 max. If you know Ryan Dice, a digital marketer, Ryan Dice teaches this. He teaches the concept of splinter offers. So basically what you do is look at your full package, look at your full services and what you do, and take pieces of your package and splinter those off. And that's what you offer. It's great if the splinter is something that they really need, but they don't have right now. Let me give you an example. In my program, it's called More Patients Now. And when I first created this program, I really wished that the doctors that I worked with had a lead magnet, right? They didn't. They had no idea what a lead magnet was. So I basically said, you know what? As part of my program, I'm going to create a lead magnet for these doctors. So now if I look at my More Patients Now program, I can splinter off that lead magnet and I could sell a ton of those. I could sell a truckload of lead magnet creation to BNI. Because here's the thing, what I could do in my 10-minute presentation is I could talk about why it's so important to generate leads for your business. Without leads, you don't have any chance whatsoever to convert those leads into customers, clients, or patients. But let's be honest, lead generation is hard. The solution is a lead magnet. It truly attracts leads just like a lead magnet. But let's be honest, you have absolutely no time to create these yourself, right? So I could splinter off that piece from my package, sell it for $297 to $497, and I would sign a truckload of clients in bulk all at one time the day I did my 10-minute presentation. I guarantee you I would. And the great thing is they would love their lead magnet and get excited about it. So what else can I do? I can sell them landing page to put the lead magnet on. I can sell them an email follow-up sequence. I can sell them chatbots. I can sell them actual Facebook ads to send traffic to that lead magnet, and on and on and on. Another example is if I look at my custom website design services, well, what I could do is, yeah, I charge a lot for web design. It's custom built websites. It's not inexpensive. But you know what? I could splinter off a landing page. You know, a lot of business owners in BNI, they have websites already, but they're not that great. I could do a really killer landing page that gets more results than a full-blown website, and I could sell that for $297 to $497, and I could sell a truckload of those. So that's a splinter offer. You basically take your entire package and you look at what pieces and parts you can splinter off and sell as a standalone for about $297 to $497, and then of course you can always upsell them. Here are final thoughts about BNI. Save your big pitches for the 10-minute presentation. That's where the magic happens. That's where you're going to sign most of your clients in bulk, are with these 10-minute presentations. Depending upon the size of the group that you join, you're going to have 1 to 3 of these per year. This is the time where you're going to sign most of your clients in bulk. Yes, of course, you are going to sign clients in BNI throughout the year, but it's usually onesies, twosies. It's not 5 and 10 and 15 and 20. The 10-minute presentation is where most of that happens, simply because of the structure. And you have to remember, it's exactly like paying to pitch from stage. The only difference is, instead of an entire niche in the audience, it's lots of different industries. And instead of hundreds or thousands in the audiences, it's, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in the audience. Now, again, others will come from your weekly meetings and your one-to-ones. And remember, BNI, it's all about referrals. So it's okay. Don't worry if you're like, wow, Gina, only about 1 to 3 of these per year. Yep, you'll have 1 to 3 10-minute presentations a year, but it's okay because you're going to continue to get clients from the weekly meetings and the 30-second commercial you do, from the one-to-one meetings that you have. And of course, BNI itself, it's a referral organization, so others are going to refer business to you. The rest of the time, when you're not doing your 10-minute presentations, I recommend theme months. Theme months. So rather than doing random commercials each and every week, decide on themes. A big mistake that people make in BNI is they don't prepare. They just come in and do a random commercial about their services each and every week. And they wonder why they don't get referrals. They wonder why they don't get business. What you have to remember is the group will have 20, 30, 40, 50 or more people. And all of those people are going to be giving a commercial. So you're going to listen to 20, 30, 40, 50 commercials each and every week. What I recommend and what I did to great success were theme months. So what I would do is I would figure out what I wanted my theme to be. So let's pretend I said, okay, for January and February of this year, I'm going to focus on landing page design. That's really the theme, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So all of my weekly commercials were about landing pages and why landing pages are so important, and why if you don't have a great landing page for your business, you're truly missing out. So the commercials were, quote, selling landing page design. What I would do is I would tell people to contact me for a special price on getting a marketing-driven landing page done. And that's what I would do for all of January and all of February. So the theme and the commercials that they would hear for probably 8 weeks would be about landing page design. Then I would take another 2 months and I would decide what my next theme would be. And let's pretend it's Facebook ads. So again, every single week in March and every single week in April, I would do a commercial on Facebook ads. and why it was very, very important to have Facebook ads. And if you're not advertising on Facebook, you're missing out. And there's a very right way and a wrong way to do Facebook ads. And if you've tried it yourself and crashed and burned, it's okay, because I do this all day, every day. And I know what works and what doesn't. And I have a proven track record. So it was all about Facebook ads and Facebook ads management. So basically, your theme months are your splinter offers. That's what you're going to want to think about. Theme months really, really work, and that's what I recommend. Another thing that's great about BNI is once you become a member, you can start substituting for other members and visit other chapters. Guys, this is a great way to get more clients as well, because now, something to keep in mind, you cannot give a 10-minute presentation to another group. You can only give the 10-minute presentation to the group that you're an actual member of. But you can give your commercial when you substitute or when you visit other chapters. Now, that's contingent on making sure there's not another person in that chapter that's in your category. So if you visit another chapter as a member, or if you substitute for another member in another chapter, and let's say you do Facebook ads, just as an example, and there's another person in that chapter that does that as well, now you can't give a commercial for that. You'll have to choose something else that you do. But don't let that stop you, because you can substitute and you can visit. What's great about visiting other chapters as a member is you're going to have credibility. Remember, you're a member of BNI and you're visiting another chapter. You're not just a random visitor. So there's going to be a trust factor, and they're going to know that you're a member because you're going to be wearing your name badge, your BNI name badge. They have special name badges just for BNI members. So of course you're going to wear that when you go to that other chapter, and you're going to want to say, hey, I'm a member of the Greater Denver Group chapter that meets on Wednesday mornings. So there's a credibility factor. In fact, you have instant credibility because they have vetted you. What's great is you can become a regular substitute for a group. So here's what this means. There is an attendance policy in BNI, and you're only allowed to miss something like 3 meetings in a 6-month period without a substitute. So that's why the substitute program is so important, because if somebody misses more than 3 meetings without a substitute, essentially their category is opened. They get kicked out of BNI. So the way to get around this, and the way that BNI helps with this, is to have substitutes. So you can become a regular substitute for a group. If there's a member that maybe travels a lot in another group, you could try to be their regular sub. And what's great about this is the group that you're substituting for, they're going to get to know you, they're going to get to know what you do, and you're going to get more business this way. It's essentially, when you do this correctly, it's like being in 2 chapters, which technically you can only be in 1 BNI chapter, but if you substitute for someone in another chapter regularly, you can really get to know them and they'll get to know you, and it absolutely can be a great way to get business. Let me share a story with you about this. This happened to me in reverse. So, travel agent Steve is someone who is in a different BNI group. And he started substituting for one of our members in my group who traveled a ton. And Steve would come to our group on a regular basis because he was substituting. Again, he's a travel agent. But what was interesting is, since he was at our group a lot, we got to know Steve and he got to know us. He actually got to know me pretty darn well. He heard me give a 10-minute presentation one time, and he decided to hire me, and he became my client. And I'll tell you guys, to this day, Steve, the travel agent, and his travel agency, he is still a client of mine to this day. Here is what he has purchased from me. And I'm leaving you with this story because this is the power of BNI when you do it the right way. Yes, you will absolutely sign up clients in bulk. Yes, you will sign up clients as they trickle in between your 10-minute presentations. But when you do this the right way, here's an example of all that Steve purchased from me, as he's a client of mine even to this day. We did a new logo and stationery design for his entire travel agency and all of his agents. We did 2, not 1, but 2 full, built from scratch custom websites. We did 2, again, not 1, but 2, what I call mini niche focused websites. These were done for very specific niches and services that they offer. We did all of his social media marketing. Now, we didn't do paid Facebook ads, but we do all of his regular posting to his Facebook business page and Twitter. So we essentially do his social media marketing. He attended my Facebook ads one-day seminar. We do SEO, search engine optimization, for all of his websites and his travel agency. We also shot video and did video marketing and YouTube marketing for his entire agency. They have referred other businesses to me, and I've made more money from the referrals that I have gotten from them. And here's what's really, really cool. As a travel agent, they do what's known as site visits, to where they actually will go places, look at resorts as a site visitor, so that they can go back and tell their clients the resorts that they recommend. So they took me to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico in 2014 for free. I got to stay in an incredible all-inclusive resort, paid for. I got to visit all these incredible resorts for free and see the suites and the bungalows and the behind the scenes, and they fed us and gave us beverages, and it was phenomenal, and it was free. And guys, that was all from one member of BNI who substituted in our chapter. And that's just one example of the power of BNI. So as a clients in bulk student, BNI is not optional. You gotta join BNI. You gotta do BNI the right way. And if you follow exactly what I have taught you in this bonus training, you will absolutely get results and huge success from BNI.